Bonafide Hustler here, and today I am going to talk to you about 5 eBay mistakes that I really think are pretty important ones that you do not want to be making. What's going on, guys and gals? Chris the Bonafide Hustler coming to you live from the inside of my office. Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and also get the free guide at bonafidehustler.com. Definitely show you a bunch of good items that you can start finding out there at thrift stores and garage sales that you could be selling on eBay. All right, eBay mistakes. Like, they always say learn from others' mistakes. So that's basically why I'm making this video. So that way, for the beginners out there, even some of the intermediates, try not to make these mistakes. They'll, 1, be costly, and 2, they're just not fun to make. And they're definitely not fun to repeat. So, if you find yourself making these mistakes, stop doing them. All right, so the very first mistake that, you want to learn early on in the eBay game is that eBay is a very keyword-based kind of platform, Keywords are what lands the buyers to your listing, or the prospective buyers to your listing. Without good keywords, they're not gonna find you. They're gonna find other people, and they're gonna sit there, wondering, why is someone with the same item selling it for higher, or just selling it in general, and mine's just sitting in my store? What's wrong? Well, check out the keywords of the person that just sold that same item. For example, keywords strengthen a product. So you really wanna hunt for good keywords by using the sell similar button or the sell one like this button. But you can also optimize over that as well by using things like Google, and you can actually look up actual product codes for certain things, especially when it comes to shoes. You can look up the actual model numbers plus the weird color combos that they might have out there, because there's some really weird ones out there, especially when you start dealing with tennis shoes, for example. But a good keyword, for example, on a cowboy boot is the difference between calling a cowboy boot just a normal leather boot and then maybe it's an exotic. Well, what about the other keyword? What if it's a python exotic or elephant or goat skin? You have to just put more keywords in there and take out a lot of the fluff keywords that don't belong. Number 2 is try not to sell low quality things. Low quality items stay in a store. No one wants them. Brings nobody to the store. There's no traffic. There will be no watchers. It's just kind of a big buzzkill. And plus, if you have a ton of these items in your store, like thousands of them, then you will eventually pay for them in relisting things down the road. You don't get an infinite amount of listings on eBay, no matter what kind of plan you really have. So you really want to take what you're paying for and get the most out of it. And the easiest way that you can do that is by selling higher quality goods. You might be asking yourself, how do I learn about higher quality goods? Just watch good YouTube channels that deal with garage selling and yard selling and thrift stores, and watch what these people are picking up. But then on top of that, do your own research behind the scenes to confirm the information that you are seeing on the video. Because just because someone says Tommy Hilfiger or Polo or Trek bikes, for example, doesn't mean they're all worth something. But there are a lot that are worth something. You just have to know which ones to buy. That's for a different video, but even within strong brands, there are duds. The number 3 mistake that I think a lot of people make is just not listing enough, right? You'll never really know what you love to resell. You'll never really know what the market wants until you list a bunch of things. So I suggest, if you're a beginner, starting with your own things, but a lot of times that might get discouraging, because if you don't own really good things or high quality things, for example, then it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be sitting in your store, you're gonna get very discouraged about eBay, and this can happen with any other place, whether it be Etsy or Amazon. Selling higher quality items is really, really important. But let me clarify a little bit on that. You wanna sell marketable items, because there are some pretty bad items out there as well that just command a good market. It's kind of weird, just doesn't make any sense. You want to find highly marketable items, and you definitely want to be listing on a regular schedule or creating listings and putting ads up. One of the easiest ways to list more is just to take pictures in bulk and then list while you're just chilling out. Maybe you're listening to your Sonos speaker, maybe you're watching something on TV, but you can be creating listings right there from a cell phone or even off your laptop if that's what you like to do. The number 4 mistake, and I'm pretty sure this is somehow related to the eBay algorithm, but that is not listing on a regular schedule. So, you might have 50 or 100 items to list, and you're really proud about taking all these pictures, and hopefully you got 12 pictures of each and every item. But let's say you have 50 or 100 items to list, and you just go ham at it one day on like a Monday, for example, and you have nothing else the rest of the week to list. That's not the best way, I think, to do it. I think you should do maybe 20 a day for the next 5 days, or something like that if you had, let's say, 100 things to list on eBay. I believe eBay likes constant activity. You can comment down below if you think I am right or even wrong. It's all good. But I think one of the biggest mistakes that people can do is just to lump list at one given time. Now, it's okay to lump list like when you have certain quantities of the same item, like that's pretty easy to do, or certain variants of colors. Okay, I get it. But many of us that use eBay find our items from thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, things like that. And they're one-off kind of items. If you're buying high quality stuff, you're probably taking, you might go from taking a picture of a shirt to a pair of shoes, to a bat, to a tennis racket. I mean, it's just all varying. I say carve a time each day to list, and it might be as few as 30 minutes, maybe as much as an hour for most beginners or intermediates. And for those people that really have a system down, you can list for 2 or 3 hours. But I really think, as opposed to maybe listing all day long, 1 day a week, maybe just spread that out each day, carve out some time. The number 5 mistake, I think people don't really use eBay for this, but is not paying attention to your metrics, whether it be sales or what I like is ASP. I think that's a really good metric as well, because the prices in thrift stores, for example, specifically, not really garage sales, but thrift stores, for example, have risen. They've arguably risen 20 to maybe 50% from where they were maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So if your ASP isn't growing accordingly and you haven't really learned anything new per se, then you're basically eating that out of your pocket, which isn't good. So you gotta always learn better items. And with such metrics as ASP, you can learn what is something that needs to be dropped off, like stop picking that kind of stuff up, and you can learn certain items to add to your arsenal of things on eBay to increase a number such as ASP, which in turn, if you increase your ASP, you should be increasing your sales as well. But there are other metrics like feedback scores. That's really important, not so much even the number itself, but all the stars below it in the 3 categories that you get rated on, things like that. I still love ASP. Month over month ASP is pretty cool, so you can kind of see how you were doing 3 months ago versus now, and you really want to see an upward trajectory. If you start seeing, higher prices in thrift stores, you have to pay attention to metrics, because if you're working harder but your metrics are staying the same, that's not good. But without metrics, you'll never know whether your time is really worth it on whatever you're picking up, or if reselling is even working for you altogether. Anyways, that's pretty much the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can leave me a comment on what you want to see me talk about next. Let me know. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye!